What's going on, guys? Jerry from Tom and Jerry here, host of Jerry App. Today we have a very awesome game to talk about. Another mainline episode. This is going to be mainline episode number 12, and we are talking Midnight Club 2 for the PlayStation 2. This game originally released April 9th, 2003. So, close to 22 years ago, like 21 years ago now. And it's my personal favorite racing game of all time, man. I mean, there's just so much things that this game does right. A little grievances I have with it, a little nitpicky I'll get with it, but overall, like this game is the golden standard to me of what every racing game should be. You know what I mean? It has a lot of a lot of different replayable parts. There's a lot of different cars to choose from. There's a lot of characters with a lot of personality. Racing on the streets. Like, I know my brother is a guy that likes like Forza and Gran Turismo and like the racing sim games more. And I like those too. I don't mind them too much, but when it comes to like just wanting to turn on a game and race, I just love ripping through the streets of, these different cities instead of playing on a course, having to interact with like normal civilian traffic. That's what I prefer, man. That's how I like my racing games. I don't like racing games too much. Like, I do like them, right? They're not typically my forte. More of a shooter game player here. But, I'll play anything, man. I'll play RPGs. I'll play anything. But this is one from my childhood that, my brother and I bond. We love this fucking game, dude. We truly, both of us regard it as like their best racing game of all time. I don't know what it is, man. I just love the way the nitrous works. I love the mechanics of most of the cars. Each car you choose, handles pretty differently for the most part. And it's just really fun to kind of learn the car. So, I'm not expecting this episode to be too long. This game isn't too long. There's not too much depth to this game. There's no like customization or anything like that outside of changing colors for your car. And then as far as what I'm going to talk about inside of this episode, it's mostly just going to be the career mode. I know there's an arcade mode, there's an online mode, and then there's also like a multiplayer battle mode, which is pretty cool. Actually, wait, I don't remember if it's like split screen or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but we'll get all into it. We're going to be mostly focusing on the career mode, like I said, and just all that has to offer, man. I spent a couple weeks playing this game, a little bit each night, trying to just beat it in time to talk about for the podcast here. When I talked about Vanguard last week, I was so close to beating this game. I just don't really want to talk about games until I beat them, It's just easier for me, and it feels more legit that way. I know the only one I really didn't beat on this podcast so far was Pokemon Stadium, but it's honestly because that game is not really a solo game anyway. So I can just say that I beat it, or not say that I beat it, but just I don't care that I didn't beat it, because that's not what you play that game for. But that's kind of off topic. But let's get into Midnight Club 2 here, man. Let's fucking do it. Okay, so I really wanted to start off by playing the first one. I bought both of them on eBay, Midnight Club 1 and 2, for pretty good prices in pretty good condition. But for some reason, it's the greatest hits edition of Midnight Club 1 was the one I got, and it doesn't play in my PS2 for some reason. I have to maybe clean it, maybe change the laser on it. I was looking up some games. I know it's like a different backing. The greatest hits one is like a blue back for the disc. I don't know if it makes a difference or not. I didn't really look too much into it, but for some reason, my PS2 just won't play it. So I wasn't able to play the first game, or else I would have played that first. So I just went straight for the second one. We'll play the first one eventually, probably at a much later time when I figure this issue or whatever the hell it is out. We're starting off with Midnight Club 2, man. And right when you start the game off, you get right to that title screen with, it says it has Moses on it. It has a dice on it. And the third girl is Maria, I think. I can't really tell who it is. It kind of looks different, but yeah, I love the main menu in this game, dude. It is iconic as fuck. The soft, like, I don't want to say techno, but like electronic music that plays is really good. It's just so simple. The layout is so simple. You make an account or make a new profile or whatever. Sorry. But yeah, you make a new profile. I named my character Crust for some reason because I'm doing a thing where I first thing that comes to mind is what I name the profile. So Crust came up. I don't know what the hell I was thinking at the time, but that's what we went with it. So yeah, you load up the game, you make the profile, and right off the rip, you can enter career mode. You can hit right and go to arcade mode. Arcade mode is basically just kind of like instant action, kind of like race now type deal. You have to unlock the other cities though first to be able to play through them. And then you have networking mode, which was just online play. This game took place. You could play it online if you want to. I've played it online a couple times, like way back in the day. Obviously, you need like an Ethernet connection and stuff. I haven't played it or tried to recently. I'm sure the servers like aren't even up anymore, so probably not missing out too much. But as far as I remember, online was yeah, it was like racing and battle mode. I'm not gonna look too much stuff up about this game because I kind of want to just go on what I remember off of it and what I've played through now. But yeah, there's online mode if you want to play. If you played it back in the day, that's cool. There's race editor mode, which is pretty cool. You can like make your own custom races. Like he can be black, white, Asian, or Indian. No, obviously like the car racing. But yeah, if you wanted to get creative with it, you can like make your own waypoints and design races and stuff for your friends in each of the various cities, which is pretty cool. I was never personally really into this mode. You could create stuff if you wanted to, but I was more of just a load up of the game and play it type of guy. I was never really into the creative kind of gameplay stuff here, but yeah, then you scroll back over to career mode, or you have options. There's an options mode where you can obviously tweak various options. And then there's career mode, which is obviously what I played. You go down, you hit career mode, and you get to choose your vehicle. But obviously, if you're brand new to the game, you only have the very first starting vehicle, which is the Coquette. Or maybe it's like Kakati or something like that. But this thing is basically just like some sort of older Ford Escort type type car. I know a lot of these cars in this game, but at the same time, I also don't. I'm not. I know a lot about cars in real life, but some of them I just don't know everything about everything. You know what I mean? So I know a lot about them. So I'll be able to tell you guys what most of the cars are in the game, but. Yeah, this first one is like some sort of Ford Escort, so you have to choose that. You can choose the color if you want. Every car in the game has 4 different colors you can choose from. I didn't really fuck around with this though because it doesn't really matter to me. I kind of just, clicked it and queued it up. And then the second you click on the car, you get the Moses cutscene, the famous Moses cutscene. And Moses is the first character you're introduced to in this game. I'll mention really quick, you never see your character, you never hear your character, you basically, you're under the assumption that it's a male, it's a dude, based on the way the females talk to you in this game, which is funny, we'll get into later. But yeah, we get Fat Fuck Moses as the very first not playable, but NPC you talk to and meet, all right? So he's Moses. He's iconic, arguably the most iconic character in all of Midnight Club 2, to me anyway. The devs basically just said, hey guys, let's create the fattest fucking character we can, and he'll be the introduction character. So that's Moses. He drives the city, which the city is basically just a Honda Civic, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot to mention you start off in LA, Los Angeles. So that's the first city this game takes place in. And then you kind of just follow the same theme throughout most of the game. Every racer you come across, you have to flash your high beams at them while in free roam mode. And then they'll kind of drive you around the map until they get to their first race that they start off in. Which is cool. It's a cool mechanic. I do enjoy that, following people around, kind of getting used to the car you're driving in, the new car you're driving in and whatnot. Moses is pretty straightforward. Doesn't take you too long to get to his first race here, and then every racer in the game from here on out kind of has 2 races you have to beat, and then you kind of claim their car, and you can get to use their car in the next race or whatever. Sometimes there's people only have 1 race. Sometimes they have 3. Sometimes there's like an intermission where you race somebody else. But for the most part, the standard formula is basically most drivers have 2 races. And I'm not going to talk about what they are. I'll talk about what the races, what you basically do in them. They're mostly checkpoint races. So obviously you follow a straight line. They're not like circuit races ever. I know you can design circuit races like in this game, but there's really, I believe there's not a single circuit race in this entire game, meaning, with laps, kind of like you'd see in like NASCAR or something. No circuit races in this game at all. So it's all just point-to-point races for the most part. And then occasionally there'll be one where you can go any route and get all of the checkpoints in your own kind of order that you want to go in, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, the first couple races in the game don't really do that. They all just kind of follow the checkpoint style, point to point, race to the checkpoint, get it, go to the next one, get it, go to the next one until you finish the race, which is pretty cool. And let me just mention really quick, I love the fact that the skill representation in this game really comes from learning the courses, learning which shortcuts to take, because there's various alleyways and various ramps and like glass you can break through in each city to kind of take shortcuts and just pass people. And it's really fun to me, man. I like learning, especially like the early races in Moses and like LA in general, like isn't that hard. The skill in this game gets so much harder as you progress through the game. Like it just gets harder and harder and harder, but it makes it feel so much more rewarding to beat a race. And that's just what I love about it, man. I really love having to play the races a couple times and get like a feel for them. That's what I kind of called it especially in like Tokyo in the later game. You have to like learn the races to be able to do them. So it's fun, man. It's a cool skill gap. So yeah, that's it. Moses, he just has 2 checkpoint races, and then you basically get his car from him. You also unlock your first ability with your car, which is pretty cool that there's multiple abilities in this game you can do with your car, and you get nitrous. The way nitrous works in this game is you get 1 charge of it per race, at least with the first couple cars. Eventually, as you start progressing the game, the better cars have multiple uses of nitrous, but you only get 1 use of it per race, right? So you have to really make sure you're getting value out of it with how you use it. You can use it to, pass somebody on a straightaway. You can use it if you accidentally fuck up and you need to, just catch back up again. But yeah, you unlock nitrous through Moses's car. So you use the city, you have the 1 nitrous gauge that you can use. And this is what I'll mention really quick. You can choose any car you want for any race, but I mean, to play the way properly, you should just be upgrading your car with every time you get a new one, because they're obviously every car is just better than the last. And then once you're done with that, once you beat Moses, you get back into free roam. This is officially where it's free roam. The game kind of starts out and kind of forces you into the first initiation mission with Moses, but now you're actually free roaming around. You can choose. There's typically 2 racers on the map at a time. They show on your mini map. There's an arrow pointing to one of them, and this is where you can kind of choose which way you want to go. There's not really a set in stone direction to take. You can kind of just play how you want to here. And I just move on to the next guy here. His name is Steven. He is the guy that drives the Volks. What is it called? The Emu, right? I think it's some sort of Volkswagen Passat or something like that. I forgot to mention, every single racer you flash your beams at, it's kind of cool. It plays like the soundtrack for the race, just the instrumental part. every character in the game kind of has their own like theme when they race. It's actually pretty cool. And the soundtrack, I forgot to mention in this game, is fucking incredible for the most part. There's a few dud tracks that I don't like. Like there's a lot of techno that really didn't age well to me in this, but there's also like a lot of hip hop in this. There's like a lot of techno. There's a lot of electronic music. Overall, like solid fucking soundtrack. I even throw it on from time to time when I'm like working and stuff, and it's very, very good. But yeah, this guy Steven, he's like your typical like Asian twink. Thinks he's never good enough for the race. Like every time you beat him, he's like, "Damn, I should have did this better." But yeah, he's not really hard. Like I said, all of LA, it's not very complicated at all. This is the first of the time trial races you get in the game. So basically, you're not racing against anybody but the clock. Every time you hit a checkpoint, you get more time. So that's really all it is. It's really so hard to lose this race. I feel like this is probably one of the easier ones in the entire game. But yeah, you get through all the checkpoints and you beat the race. Easy peasy. And then his second race is the first of the go anywhere you want on the map kind of race. I don't know what the hell to call it. Maybe open world race style. I don't know what to call it, but there's various checkpoints around the map that they're not in a specific order. So you can get them at any time you want to. You can choose your own route. You can follow other guys that do their route. But that's really it. That's basically the three main types of races in this game. There's the point-to-point ones where you have to follow the next checkpoint to progress. There's these kind of open world ones where you can kind of go at your own will and get any of them. And then there's like the time trial ones. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy, very, very simple. And then you beat Steven and you get the Volkswagen Passat, this is to me, this car, I don't really like it. I don't really like German shit in real life anyway. Sorry, I just got a text message, but yeah, I don't really care for German cars. I was never really into like Volkswagens or BMWs or any of that really. I was more into the Hondas and stuff. I owned a couple of Integras when I was growing up. I had a 93 Integra for my first car, so that's what the next racer is. She has an Integra, so that's pretty cool. That's like one of my favorites in the game. But yeah, Steven, pretty easy. Pretty easy. We just clapped his shit in pretty easily. So yeah, the next racer is Maria. She has the orange Integra, and you do the classic flash your high beams, follow her to the race location, but this one's kind of cool because the second you follow this girl to the location, you unlock a new ability right off the bat, and it's called in-air controls. And what in-air controls allow you to do is, for some reason, I know it's not really very realistic at all, but you can hold the left, what do you call it, L1 on PlayStation, right? L1, it's the top button. Yeah, L1. Sorry, I'm used to L being RB like a Xbox controller, but yeah, you hold L1 and you move the joystick around, and you can kind of, did I just call it a joystick? It's an analog stick. Jesus Christ, dude. But yeah, you can move the car around in air to kind of land better, maybe do flips if you're feeling edgy enough, but you don't really ever want to use it for that. It's more for just like controlling your landing. But yeah, then did I mention that the cutscenes play before each race? I forgot to mention that, Moses had a cutscene. Steven had a cutscene, but basically they think up a sentence. That's basically how they all go. They think up a sentence that you can kind of hear their thoughts, and then they talk to you. Maria, I forgot. Let me mention really quick. There's a bunch of stereotypes for drivers in this game, and like their ethnicity and like their race and stuff. I think it's hilarious personally. I feel like this game kind of went under fire for that when it came out. But I love it personally. So Maria's kind of like this cholo Hispanic girl who has a hot temper, hot-headed Latina girl. So the stereotype is there. I think it's very funny personally. But yeah, she's pretty easy for the most part. She's all like, "You ready to shine my bumper, idiota?" I don't know. I just love it. I think it's funny as fuck. Her first race is pretty fun actually because it takes place like entirely on the complete highway or the freeway of LA. So it's all just a giant freeway race. Pretty easy, it's just a giant circle essentially. Then her second race is kind of just like a one-on-one, head-to-head type race. Actually a new type of race here, but I don't really consider it that new. It's the same like point-to-point style, checkpoint style race, except there's a timer. So every time you pass a checkpoint, you get more time. But I don't really, it's not really that much different from other races, except for the fact that you're timed. Except if you're passing checkpoints normally, like it's not hard to keep up with the time. You really just are playing against Maria and trying to get her car. So you beat her and you get the Acura Integra, except this is more of like the newer style Integra, not quite the RSX, but the blob eye, not blob eye, but like the four circular headlight style, except it's like the Japanese version with the strip headlights. I liked the other, like this one's called, I can't remember what they're called actually, but mine's a DA. They're the one I had anyway. It's a DA, like 90 to 93 style Integra. I prefer that personally. I like the boxiness of it, but that's just me. So then you basically just go back into free roam like you do every time you win a new car. And there's 3 more racers to choose from here. I go for Angel. Angel is the kid with the S2000. It's silver. This kid is so annoying. He's just like this stuck up little white fucking kid, and he's a little piece of shit. He's just snarky. He's got an ego. He needs to be taken down a peg, so that's what we do, man. His first race is one of those ones where you can go anywhere, but if you take this certain route, you can basically turn it into like a point-to-point race, which was what I did. You just go right for the first little checkpoint there, and then you can go all the way around the map like normal. I actually don't know why it's a go anywhere type one, because there's literally like a straight line you can take to beat the race pretty easily. So that's what I ended up doing. After you beat this first race, you unlock another car ability, which is the Burnout. And what the Burnout does is you hold the R1 and X buttons, which, by the way, I just need to mention that really quick. Dude, coming back to like a retro style, that's crazy to say that this game is retro now, but it is 20 years old now. So, but yeah, coming back to a retro like racing game like this, holding X to make your car go feels so fucking weird as compared to like all the modern racing games. You now hold RT or R2. Whatever that back trigger is on the right there, it feels so natural, feels good. But yeah, you hold X in this game, which is weird. I'm sure there's an option where you can change it, change the button bindings around, but I didn't really look into it much. I kind of just went with the standard here. But yeah, you unlock Burnout. What you do is you hold R1, you hold X, and your car kind of peels out. There's like a meter on the right side that fills up all the way to the top. And once you let go of R1, you basically just get like an enhanced start. It's like in Mario Kart when you get the speed boost off the rip if you hold A at like just the right time to get the speed boost. Kind of similar, except it's not a timing thing. Well, you kind of just have to time it with this 3, 2, 1, go on the race. And then you just take the fuck off and start flying right away. Very cool feature. I love this feature very much. And then this Angel's kind of interesting because you beat him in the first race, and then he's like, oh man, my old man's in town. Make sure your brakes are ready to bleed. And then you race his dad for some reason. I don't know why. His dad is Diego. You don't see this guy. There's a couple unnamed racers that you don't see in this game, and Diego is one of them. So you race Diego next. Diego has basically the only American muscle car in the game, if I'm not mistaken. It's a 1971 Bestia, which is basically a Pontiac GTO. It resembles mostly. I forgot to mention, but I'll mention really quick. The cars are not one-to-one real life cars. They kind of have stuff tweaked up, obviously, because they didn't want to pay for like licensing and stuff. So they'll have like different taillights or different headlights or different bumpers or stuff like that, just to differentiate between real life cars, even though we can all kind of tell what it really is. But I'll just mention that really quick. So you race Diego, one race in his GTO, you get the Burnout ability. And this race is just a classic point-to-point style race. Very quick too, very, very quick race. But basically you just race a quick drag race kind of through the LA Dam. It's not entirely straight. There's like a couple turns, but yeah, very easy. You beat this guy once and then you get his GTO. So then I hop inside the GTO to continue racing, which is kind of disappointing. I wanted to use the Integra a little more, but I kind of wanted just kind of to keep, I wanted to keep a car hopping just to kind of get a feel for every single car in a game. And then you go on to Angel's second race with him. And this is where this little snobby prick really shows up because he gives himself a head start when nobody else gets one, which is just like, dude, you're a fucking cheating little fag. I hate this guy. But yeah, it's basically just a classic point to point style race, point to checkpoint style race. And then once you beat it, you get the Interna, which is the Honda S2000. So then the next racer I choose is Gina. Gina has the City Turbo, which is basically just Moses' car except faster. It's just another Honda Civic Coupe. Nothing too crazy here. It's got a pretty cool paint scheme on it with a sweet spoiler. And Gina's an interesting character because she kind of sticks with you throughout the rest of the game and kind of comms with you and talks to you through radio, which is nice. Dude, it's funny because the female characters in this game literally only have two personalities, and they either hate you with all their guts or they're horny for you. It's literally nothing in between that. It's so funny. I don't know why. It's a very funny feature, and it's obvious that you're a guy because she's calling you baby and shit, unless she's a dyke and you're a dyke, but I don't know if you are. You might be a lesbian woman driver, but I feel like you're probably just a dude in this game. Like I said, it's unnamed, so you don't really know, but I would assume you're a male because of the way some of these guys talk to you in this game. Just would be very cordial towards a lady. So Gina's kind of interesting because she has like 4 races, I believe. The first one is just a standard, normal checkpoint to checkpoint style race, nothing too interesting. And then the second race, you actually race a bunch of motorcycles, and the guy's name is like Maro. I really don't know. This is another character you don't really see ever. But yeah, you race a motorcycle. Once you beat this guy, then you get the motorcycle, and then you learn a new mechanic for the motorcycle. This is the first time you get the motorcycle, so you just kind of learn the mechanics for it, and it's weight transfer. Weight transfer is kind of similar to the in-air controls for the car in the sense where you hold left L1, and you can use... It's not just for in-air, although it is also used for that. What this does is you can either hold L1 and go back to do a wheelie, which makes you go super fast. You can hold L1 and go forward, which kind of makes you duck forward and gain speed as well. And you can hold L1 and go left or right to kind of take sharper turns. And this is a mechanic you really have to master if you want to be good on the motorcycle, because if you try to turn without using this, it's like impossible. Like your bike just does not turn at all. So you have to get really, really used to this mechanic to continue throughout the rest of the game. If you want to use a motorcycle for it, that is. So the first race you do on the motorcycle is just a standard time trial race. You basically just go on the highway by yourself, grab the checkpoints, and then head back. You basically go across the entire map on the motorcycle to kind of get used to its handling here. And then Gina's last race is just against her and a couple other drivers. Standard checkpoint to checkpoint style race. Nothing too interesting here. The fact that you have a motorcycle, though, is like a huge, huge buff because the motorcycle it just flies, man. And if the only downside to the motorcycle is if you crash, you kind of fly off of it and it takes a moment to reset. That's the one problem with the motorcycle. So if you're clean at driving and you can weave in and out of traffic and not hit anything, not manage to hit any obstacles, like it's just overpowered because it's just so much faster and you can seize a lot more gaps. Seize the gap, you bitch. If you get that reference, I love you. But yeah, that's really it. Then you win her City Turbo. So after you beat Gina, you move on to Hector. And Hector is Maria's older brother, actually. And he's of Hispanic descent. The stereotypes are there. It's so funny, man. He's like, he robs my little sister wheels or something like that. He goes, he robs my little sister wheels. This fool must pay. His races are kind of interesting. The first one isn't really technically even a race. You kind of just have to lose the cops. The cops get on you. You have to lose them and then just get to this finish line before he does. There's no checkpoints, no nothing, just the finish line. All you got to do is ditch the cops by, going through either shortcuts, taking ramps, just, trying to evade cops like you do in any other game. That's really it. His second race is kind of just like an free from, unordered style free roam, kind of grab whatever checkpoints you want and then just get to the finish line after getting them all. Pretty straightforward. And then the last one is like a checkpoint ordered style kind of race. I forgot to mention, you get a new ability here too for your car. It's called Slipstream Turbo. And what it is basically if you tail behind another driver, it can't be a civilian car. It has to be an actual racer, like driver car. You get this meter that fills up, kind of like the burnout meter. It's the same meter actually, but it fills up. And once it hits red and starts blinking red, you're able to use like a nitrous essentially for free. So if you're drafting behind somebody, you basically can get a free nitrous, which is very useful a lot of the time, because you don't have to burn your nitrous and you just get a free boost to get ahead. Obviously, you only want to use this on like straightaways and stuff, because if you try to use it on a turn, you'll end up fucking yourself over. Also, one major downside to Slipstream Turbo is when you use it, your screen gets so blurry. So it's really hard to see. You really want to make sure you have a good opportunity to use this thing before you just go and blow it. Make sure traffic's clear, stuff like that. So not too bad. And then once you beat this guy, you get his Monstruo, which is basically just a newer gen RX-7, Mazda RX-7. Its car's pretty cool. I like the Mazda RX-7. I think it's a pretty solid looking car. Enjoy it a lot. So yeah, you get that. So after you beat Hector, you then move on to the Los Angeles champion of the city, and his name is Dice. He doesn't get a cutscene in the first race. You kind of just spawn into his race. You don't tail him or anything like that you normally do. And it's just a normal style race, normal checkpoint kind of style race here. It's not anything crazy, nothing out of the ordinary, but this is where the game kind of starts getting a little difficult. The traffic picks up a lot. Avoiding traffic gets really annoying and difficult. It's not really annoying. It's just difficult. That's part of the game, I guess. But yeah. So once you beat his first race, then you obviously move on to the second race. Dice only has 2 races, and it's another ordered race, another checkpoint to checkpoint style race. And then what's interesting about this is you get another technique after you beat Dice, another driving technique. And this is one I never really used just because I feel like it's more of a risk, but it's kind of a weird ability too. You hold L1 while you're driving, and you hit left or right on the left analog stick. And you can put your car up on 2 wheels, which is interesting to say the least. It's like you use this to, obviously they want you to use it to weave between cars and stuff, but it's really risky, right? Because if you fuck this up in any way, shape, or form, then your car starts rolling. You can roll your car over, and then you just end up losing a bunch of time, losing spots in the race. So I never used this in my playthrough, and I am uploading my gameplay to YouTube. It's uploading as I speak, but yeah, I really don't like this technique. I never used it. I used it back in the day a little bit, but I didn't really much care for it just because it feels weird. I just like weaving in the cars normally without going up on 2 wheels, but maybe that's just me. So once you beat Dice's second race, you unlock his Jersey XS. And this thing is basically just like a Dodge Viper. It's kind of like a concept Viper, actually. This car was sick. This was my favorite car back in the day, just because I love the fucking way it looks, man. I love the body kit on it too. Actual, just nasty car. So this is the first car you get that comes with 2 turbos, if I'm not mistaken, too. It has 2 nitruses, 2 nitro slots, so that's useful too. You can have one as a backup, and you can use. It's obviously just better to have more nitros, you know what I mean? So there's more situations to use them in. And then as well as the Jersey XS, you get access to Paris, the second city that you race in Midnight Club 2. This personally is my least favorite of the 3 cities. Just don't really, I just never really cared for Paris. I don't know. I think Tokyo and LA are more fun to drive around in. Also, this is where the traffic obviously is oncoming on the right side instead of the left side of the road, like how us Americans are normally used to driving. Traffic now is flip-flopped like it is in every other country in the world, essentially, besides North America. So yeah, we start off in Paris here. The first racer you meet and drive against in Paris is Blog. This guy, dude, he's like this gay little fucking United Kingdom British guy. He's like a DJ or some shit. He just has the most annoying voice lines and that fucking accent too. I'm sorry if you were born in the British world or born into the world as a British guy. My condolences. Very, very sad to see that. But yeah, you race him. He has the boost, which I actually had to look up what the hell this car is. Apparently, it's a Ford Puma, which I don't recognize at all. So let me know in the comments below if you know what this car is. I personally have no idea what this is, but Blog isn't too bad. He goes like, "Oh, you up for a little drive?" or something like that, and then yeah, he just has two races. We'll blow through them really quick. He just has two checkpoint to checkpoint races. You beat him, claim his car, easy peasy. You now have the choice between two more racers to choose from. I chose Julie next. I didn't choose her. I kind of just drove over to it, and it happened to be Julie. This one's interesting because there's actually two racers. It's Julie and her twin sister, Jewel. One of them, it's the classic Midnight Club 2 formula where one of the girls is horny for you, the other one is kind of like indifferent towards you. They call you Yankee. I'm assuming, it's like a New York slur or whatever. I actually don't know. Like I said, you know nothing about your driver in this game or where he's from. It'd be cool if he's from the first game in New York, but I genuinely have no idea about that story of the game. So, Julie, pretty easy. One of the races is the first race is, unordered, go where you want kind of style. The second one is the checkpoint to checkpoint ordered style race. Beat her, and then you get her Bryan Cranston V, which is some sort of BMW. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with the Eurotrash cars. Some sort of BMW. I know that's what it is. I'm not too much of a fan of this car, but it's a European car if you're into that. Next up is Primo. Primo is this Italian F1 driver guy. Classic stereotype with the slick back hair, smug arrogance type guy. So this one's actually kind of interesting because the car you chase him down in or, follow him to the race in, it's not the same car you win at the end. Although it kind of is, but I'll get into it really quick. It's the Vortex 5, which is not what you win at the end. The first race is just a classic unordered race that you drive him around in. Or, you win this one, and then you move on to the next one, which he uses a different car for, which is the Schneller V8. And then once you beat I'm retarded. Once you beat both these races, you get both of the cars apparently, but you can only ever drive the Schneller V8 because you give the other one to Gina apparently in the story. I had no idea about that, but I just read up about that about that now. So yeah, you get the Schneller V8, which is again some sort of BMW. I have no idea exactly what it is. Some sort of BMW Eurotrash that I genuinely have less than zero interest in. So next up on the chopping block is Ian. Ian is an interesting character because he has the only guy in the game that you race where he has a motorcycle and a car, and you can win them both. Unlike Primo, where you only win one of his cars, you get both the Ian's cars. Holy fuck, guys, I am retarded. I need to take a break and come back to this. Holy shit. 1 second. His first race is a classic ordered race, classic Midnight Club 2 formula here. His second race is another ordered race, except this time you face off against motorcycle drivers as well. And then once you beat this race, another ordered race, you unlock his Frypon X, which is like a Volkswagen Golf, right? Yeah, it's some sort of Eurotrash Volkswagen Golf. And, I forgot to mention Ian. He's an Australian guy. Classic Australian stereotypes. He's got, like, teeth on a necklace. He's got, like, the crikey accent. He looks like he's literally about to go hunt a crocodile at this point. And then, yeah, his third race is just him on the motorcycle. This time you race against all motorcycles. I chose to use his car for this to kind of, just dig it in him a little bit here and, just rub it in his face here. And then once you beat him, you get the Monsoni, which is the Paris motorcycle. This thing has pretty fucking insane speed. It's really, really, really fast. And it's funny because at the end of his race, he goes, "No walking fairies, mate. Enjoy the cars," which is like no fucking worries. Obviously, it's just funny that they turned it around like that. Moving on quickly and efficiently, we get to Stefan. I have no idea what nationality this guy is. He's probably, I don't know, French if I would have to guess. I genuinely just have no idea. Not that it really matters at the end of the day, but he's got like long hair, glasses, a little fucking soul patch. Looks really faggy, but he's pretty decent guy, pretty okay guy here. He only has 2 races. His first one is an unordered race. Second one is an ordered checkpoint race. Not too bad. And then you get his Alarde at the end, which the Alarde is basically just a Lotus Elise, which is pretty nice. Pretty slick looking car. Pretty slick looking sports car we have here. Moving on to the next guy, Farid. This guy's interesting because his story is that he's like on the run. He's like a fugitive from Algeria. So, you know, that's kind of what he's all about. He's kind of just like a fugitive on the run here. He has races in the catacombs, which the catacombs are basically just like an underground section of Paris. You know, you race through like these dirt tunnels and underground alleyways. It's funny because it has like these crashable little crashable things under there that you can run into, and like when you run into them, a bunch of skulls and bones like fly out of them. So it's like a bunch of buried people and or like skeletons and shit that you run through. It's pretty cool actually. I actually really like that. And then the second race is just a lose the cops race, kind of like a Hector from LA, right? You kind of just have to ditch the cops, head to the finish line mark, and then that's really all you do. And then that's it for Farid. But he actually has an interesting gimmick because he has a third race, but you don't race him. You race against this inspector named Owen instead of Farid. Farid is basically happy to give you his car because it's filled with evidence, and that's kind of what Owen's after. Owen is just after the evidence that's in Farid's car. So you kind of race him as a one-off race. You don't see what this guy looks like, but he drives. Oh, I forgot to tell you Farid's car. Farid drives like it's called the Stat. It's like a Renault Clio. This was one of my favorite ones from when I was a kid. I don't know why. I just like the simple hatchback design. I don't know. Something that just really resonated with me here. So yeah, you move on to Owen's race. It's just one race, like I said. But then you just beat Owen in an ordered race, and then somehow you get his car. I don't know how that works, like, or what the logistics of that are, right? Because like this guy is an inspector, like looking for this fugitive, right? And then you race him, and then he's just like, "Oh, okay, I guess I won't be doing this anymore." And then he just like leaves, and he gives you his car. I don't really know how that works, I guess. But once you beat Owen, you're officially onto the Paris champion, and her name is Parfait, which is an interesting name to say the least. I mean, to me, Parfait is some sort of dessert or delectable item, like a food you eat. So I don't know if that's what her name's based off of or something. She's, pretty basic as far as character wise, and she's just like, I don't know, she doesn't speak a whole lot. She kind of just does her own thing. She's indifferent. She's kind of like, she's not horny for you, but she also doesn't hate you. She's kind of just like neutral, I guess. She just has basically 2 checkpoint to checkpoint races in a row, and then you beat her. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary. And then you get her car, the Moto Prego, which is basically just like a Porsche 911, some sort of Porsche like that. Not too into Porsches personally, but if you are, then you might like this car. Oh, I forgot to mention, the car you get from Owen is like an Aston Martin Vanquish, right? Some sort of British Aston Martin car. Not too familiar with these either, but this car is pretty good, actually. It's pretty much like the James Bond car. I feel like that's what Owen's kind of supposed to be. He's like the inspector guy, the kind of stealthy guy, stealthy James Bond character kind of guy. And that's what he does. But once you beat Parfait, you move on to the last city in the video game, which is Tokyo. And as by far the difficulty spike on Tokyo is insane, bro. It gets so fucking hard. It's actually kind of crazy. I'm gonna try to speed this up a little bit, guys. I know it's a little too long here. We're at like 40 some odd minutes, and I didn't want it to be this long, so I'm gonna just move on here kind of quickly here. So we get to Tokyo. You know, same kind of landscape. Has bridges, has shortcuts, has alleyways, that kind of thing. Similar to all the other cities. The first character we face is Ichigo, which I just want to say, all the Asian characters in Tokyo, they all have the funny, not the funny, but like the Asian accent where they talk like this. Some of them do, not all of them. But I just think it's funny. It's like the stereotype is there. It's funny. I love it personally. I think it's funny. We can all, if you can't find humor in race stereotypes, then we can't be friends. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's funny. Like, make fun of me for being white, bro. Like, say something about white people in the comments. But anyways, we'll just move on from that. This guy has 3 separate races, if I'm not mistaken. The first one is a time trial race. His second race, you basically race against this guy, Ichiro. He forces to race you against him for some reason. He has like this black sedan, the Lusso XST, which is kind of like some sort of Lexus. It's like a Lexus GS 300 or something like that. And then, you know, it's just a classic point-to-point style race like they all normally are. And then you're able to get this thing off of Ichiro. He's one of those characters that doesn't have an appearance. You don't know what he looks like. He's just kind of like an unseen character that you race in a one-off kind of race and beat him. And then I use this Lexus, to beat Shing's third race. And then after you beat the third race, it's another ordered race. You get his car, which is the RSMC. It's basically just a Nissan 350Z, which is pretty sweet. These cars are awesome. The next racer is Ricky. Gina explains to you over the radio that Ricky screwed her over and she's in deep with the Yakuza or something like that. Somehow, I don't know how this chick managed to get in with the Yakuza, but that's what it is. So then you basically race Ricky to try to get her car back. Ricky is an interesting character. He's another guy like Angel who kind of cheats off the line so to give himself a head start because he's a dishonest prick. He just has 2 ordered checkpoint to checkpoint races, and then once you beat him, he gives you the vortex that he stole from Gina or scammed her out of or whatever. And this thing it's basically just a Toyota MR2, which is pretty sick. I love this thing. It's a small little sports car there, and I obviously use that too because, you know, I use every car in the game, so why the fuck not? I'm going to continue the career in my new vehicle. Hell yeah. Moving on from Ricky, we race Haley next, which is this white bitch from the United States. She's blonde. This is one of those ones where she hates you. She's not horny for you. She hates you. She hates all men, actually. She might be a lesbian. But yeah, she has an interesting concept in her races. Because her first race, I feel like it's actually the only race in the entire game where there's 0 traffic, right? So you race through this basically ordered style checkpoint to checkpoint race with checkpoint to checkpoint style race, essentially, with 0 traffic involved, which is pretty cool. And then her second race is just another checkpoint to checkpoint style race with obviously traffic is re-enabled in this race, and there's also cops in this race. And then you basically beat this bitch and you get her Psycho or Saiku, whatever it is. It's basically a Toyota Supra. Pretty sick car, to be honest with you. It's got a cool paint design on it too. Moving on from Haley, we race Nico. Nico has a Mitsubishi Evo, one of the older Evos. Pretty sweet car, actually. I actually do like this car a lot, like IRL. Not so much in game because I just didn't really use it that much. But Nico looks so gay, dude. He has like an upside down visor. Just looks like a total tool, man. And he also calls you Squid Head a bunch throughout the game, which is pretty funny. This is another character with only 2 races. First one's a point-to-point checkpoint style one, like they all normally are. Second one is pretty much the same thing with the exception that there's also a timer for some reason. So it's like one of those timed races from way earlier. Same thing. You beat the 2 races and then you get the car and he calls you Squid Head or something and then you get his Evo. So pretty easy. And I shouldn't say pretty easy because it's not. This game is like, I'm retrying all these races so often at this point just because you have to sit here and learn the races to be able to know how to do them. You know what I mean? Moving on from Nico and his Evo, we move on to Zen. Zenyatta from Overwatch. He's actually in this game. No, his name is like Zen, though. He's the only motorcycle driver in the game that you actually have to like tail and follow to his races. And then you never actually see what he looks like. He has his helmet on the whole time, but he's got the strong Asian accent, the stereotypical Asian accent, which I can't lie, gives me a small chuckle every time. He just has two classic checkpoint style races. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Nothing of crazy excellence here. And then you get his motorcycle, which is obviously the best motorcycle in the game because it's the last one. Very, very fast. Very, very speedy. Once you beat Zen and claim his motorcycle, then you can finally move on to Kenichi. Kenichi is the guy, like the Yakuza boss guy. Very, very heavy Asian accent here. It makes me chuckle every time. I don't know why, man. I just think it's funny. Sorry if that's insensitive or whatever, but I don't think it is. It's just a simple joke, really. Simple joke. He goes like, if I don't get what Gina owes me, I'll rip you apart. Something like that. But yeah, this is basically like the Kenichi character Genie Gina was looking for. Like when you first get to Tokyo, you basically just need to fulfill her debt by beating him in races, I guess. That's basically how it works. He has 3 races, which is actually pretty interesting. The first one is like your classic point-to-point checkpoint style race. The second one is where it gets interesting, right? Because you play as a cop car. You play as the Japanese cop car, which is like it looks like a Nissan 300Z, if I'm not mistaken. This thing is super fast, has 4 turbos on it, which is very, very solid. And this isn't really a race at all. In fact, it's not. All you have to do is you have to crash into all the other racers to take them out. And then that's how you pay off the debt with Gina's debt to this guy, which is just interesting. You know, coming back to this after not playing it for all these years, definitely an interesting change of pace in the game. Because like I said, you're not racing. You're just crashing and disabling their cars. So I don't know. I actually really like this one. So then after you do this mission with the cop car, he's basically like, Gina and I are square. This is between you and me. And then you have to race him one more time in like a classic checkpoint to checkpoint style race. And once you finally defeat him, he goes, he raced with honor. He showed the respect till the end. Which I don't know. I just think it's funny. Because, you know, a lot of Japanese like stereotypes, or not stereotypes, a lot of Japanese culture or Asian culture in general just involves respect and honor. You know, you hear it a lot in the samurai stuff, which I think it's a cool nod to his character. It's not even like really racist or anything. I just think it's very, very on character for this guy, especially because he's a Yakuza guy, you know? So you beat Kamichi and you get his car, which is, it's a Toyota Supra with a body kit on it. I feel like there's probably a specific name for this that I'm missing out on because I just don't remember. But this thing is sick and it's very, very good. It looks really cool. It handles really, really well. And it's just an all-around solid car. It has 3 speed boosts too, which most of the cars in Tokyo do. So not too much different here. But then we are officially done tailing people to their races. Now you do not do that anymore. And throughout the rest of the game here, we're on to the last 2 guys in the game. We face the Tokyo City champion right after the Kamichi battle. You no longer free roam, like I said. You just go right into this guy's missions. And it's Makoto, right? Makoto, something like that. He's the Tokyo champion. You don't really know too much about his background or what he is. I would assume he's heavily involved in like the Yakuza and stuff, seeing as how he's the champion. He's well respected by like every racer in the game. And he has a couple races. I think he has 3 total. No, he doesn't have 3. He only has 2, which is actually kind of weird. You know, I feel like this guy probably would have had, I mean, I guess it's on par for every other city leader that has 2 races. So that makes sense in that regard. But this guy, the first race is a time trial race. He won't even race you until he sees you can complete his time trial, so that's what you have to do. You basically just have to get across the map, playing by yourself, and just beat the timer. You know, nothing too crazy about that. And then his second race, where he actually races you, is just a classic long style, point-to-point style race. You know, nothing too crazy here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. This is just one of the harder races in the game because, you know, you're close to the end. So, you know, you're trying to You're trying to just beat this guy and claim his car and move on here, you know? Also, it's raining. I don't know if I mentioned that rain in this game makes the game so much harder, especially if you're on motorcycle. Like, you're just so much more liable to spin out, and you know, the handling is just a lot worse in the rain, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. But you know, if you persevere, then you beat Makota and you get his car, which is my brother's favorite car in real life as well as this game, which is a Nissan Skyline R34. Which my brother is so gay for this car. He's so gay for Nissan Skylines in general. I'm pretty sure he would actually have sex with one if he was able to. But yeah, he loves that shit, and I kind of do too. You know, it's a sick car. This car apparently has like some of the best handling in the game, but I don't know. I disagree with it. I think it's very difficult, to be honest. It handles like this thing is so sensitive. Like, yeah, it takes turns great, but if you oversteer a little too much, or if you take a jump and you like hit the ground wrong, like you just spin out. So it's slightly frustrating, but this thing is really, really good because it has 4 turbos instead of the typical 3 that most of the other Tokyo cars have. And that's it, man. You beat Tokyo. Congratulations. You think you're done with the game, but you're not. There's a world champion, you know? So each city has their respective champions, and then there's a world leader. And this guy, his name is Savo. And now Savo is unique in the sense where he has 6 races total. You know, every racer only has 2 races or 3 at most. But this guy has 6 fucking races, and I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, 6 races? Holy fuck, that's a lot for one city. Why would you do that? But it's not all in the same city. That's the twist. Savo kind of has an eye patch. I don't really know. You don't really know too much about this character's background. He says he's died before, I guess. I don't really know how it comes into play, but if I had to guess, he would be in the military or something because he has an eye patch and he has a bunch of scars. So apparently he's died twice. He's like of Slavic descent or something like that. But yeah, he's yearning for somebody to take him down as the champion. That's all he says throughout the races is, you know, basically about how nobody's going to beat him and how nobody's ever going to beat him ever. But yeah, he has 6 races total to prove that you are the world champion here. So you do 2 races in Tokyo, you do 2 races in Paris, and then you do the final 2 races in Los Angeles, man. And then after you do that, after you do all of that, you finally beat career mode. And you can play it again if you want to, but honestly, there's really no point. And you get his car, which is the Veloci. The Veloci is a Saline S7. 5 nitrous uses on this thing, so it's very, very versatile with those. Obviously, the fastest car in the game. Has really, really good handling, and it's just a blast to use, man. I loved the Saline S7 in real life. Was one of my favorite cars when I was a kid, just because it's so fucking unique looking, right? God damn, unpopular today, but yeah, I love the Saline S7. That thing is a badass looking car. Just a super car, fucking sick. Looks mint and orange. I love it. Love, love, love this car, man. So yeah, that is it for Midnight Club 2 career mode. Sorry if I kind of blew through Tokyo a bit there. I kind of just wanted to get this moving on. You know, this game, the video is gonna be around an hour, possibly a little more longer. But that's really it as far as career mode goes. I'll mention a couple other things really quick, just because, you know, that is all of the cars in the career mode anyways. However, there is more ways to unlock a few more cars if you play arcade mode, which I never do. I don't even know how you get these cars. I know you get them through playing arcade. I just don't know how because I've never done it. But you can get all 3 of the cop cars in each city. So you get the LA cop car, the Paris cop car, and the Tokyo cop car by playing through the arcade. And also you get this hidden car, which is, it's a bunch of numbers. I can't remember what it is. It's like the SJF 680 or some weird numbers. But it's basically the Batman car. It's like a jet engine car. This thing is hella fast. So fucking fast, man. You can use cheats to get it and play around with it, which is what I did. But yeah, that's really it, man. That's all I'm going to mention. I talked about all the other options in the beginning of the video. Talked about all the cars, talked about all the racers, talked about all of the locations, the different types of races, all the cars. And that's pretty much gonna do it here, man. I think I'm all done here. So yeah, I appreciate it. Uh, should I tell you guys what I'm playing right now? Maybe I'll tell you guys what I'm playing right now. I'll just tell you. Fuck it. Let me take a break. I need to take a break, actually. Let me go take a piss, and I'll be right back. If you stuck around this long, thanks. I'm trying to get these episodes better. Like I said, I'm just trying to, still find my flow here. I'm not exactly good at this shit yet. I'm still trying. I'm still new to content creation. Still trying to find my way. Still trying to figure out exactly how I want to structure all these videos. And I know I fuck up a lot with my voice in the end, but I'm not that good at editing and stuff yet. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. So thanks for sticking with me if you're hearing this, and I really appreciate you guys listening. If you are, I know not many people are. I probably will be in like 40 years from now, when I'm old and dementia ridden. But that's a story for another time. I don't know if it's interesting to other people hearing me talk through like all of the career mode and whatnot, but I don't know. I really just feel like that's the meat of where the game is. You know what I mean? There's like that's where the gameplay is the most. I don't know what else to say about the game besides bringing up all of the characters and their races and their cars and stuff. So I feel like that's kind of the right direction I wanted to go with it. I'm gonna listen to this back on Monday while I'm at work and see, try to improve off of it and whatnot. And that's basically what I'm going to do there. So I don't want this video to be too much longer. I'll just mention what I'm playing really quickly. We're going to go just a little over an hour here, which is not too bad, but maybe a little too long for a game like this. But yeah, let's just we'll talk about what I'm playing. I'm playing Overwatch still loving Overwatch, still in love with the game. I will always love the game. Looking forward to whatever's coming. Season 11 is pretty fun so far. Didn't introduce a whole new lot of stuff, but we are probably going to get a hero trial closer to the end of the season for Space Ranger, as well as the release of Space Ranger in Season 12. So I'm very much looking forward to the new support hero there. That'll be fun to play around with. Still playing a little X Defiant. Looking forward to the Season 1 launch of X Defiant this coming Tuesday on July 2nd. It is currently June 29th as I record this. So that's that. What else am I playing? I'll be playing through, or I'm almost done with this Game Boy game that I'm playing right now that I will drop probably next week on a video. Haven't played Zombies in a while, man. I'm slacking on it. I got to get back on the thing. I know I left off at Mob of the Dead. I'm just trying to get more quality episodes out before, the zombie series, because I want this channel to be focused on the mainline episodes here. So that's what we're doing there. And that's really it, guys. I finished Midnight Club 2. So I'm just playing this one Game Boy game. I'm not going to spoil it yet for anyone or for myself, even though I already know what it is because I'm playing it. But yeah, that's really it, man. That is all I'm playing. Really just Overwatch and X Defiant here. You guys might get a Fallout 4 video soon here. I did finish Fallout 4. I pretty much explored everything in the base game to do. I actually have nothing left in the base game to do, so I bought the DLC. I'm thinking I'm going to talk about the base game in one video and the DLC in a separate video. So we'll see how that goes. It depends on how long the base game goes for, just because I don't want it to be crazy long, and I haven't played through all the DLC yet, but I have played through the base game, so I kind of want to talk about it before I forget about it and before it's not fresh in my mind anymore. So that's really it. Look forward to Fallout 4. Look forward to GB game in the future. Maybe more off-angle episodes if those don't work out. So that's it, guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Let me know in the comments below your favorite car in this game. Also, let me know your favorite character and city to race in, man. Just feel free to comment below, man. Let's talk about it. I'd love to see some discussion. I haven't talked about my favorite car yet either, so maybe I will in the comments with whoever does. So, yeah, man. Appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate the subs and the likes and stuff. So, really, really appreciate it, guys. I guess I will see you in the next one, okay? Goodbye. Peace. Peace.